The Battle of Monte Cassino was one of the bloodiest in Italy of World War II. German Fallschirmjägers, also known as Green Devils, defended the fully bombed out Italian city. I do have 7 of these custom printed Fallschirmjägers in my collection, which I'm going to use in my build. Allied forces like these British soldiers were the opponents of the Germans. These 6 British soldiers were supported by my custom-made M4 Sherman. Instructions for this model are available at rebrickable.com for €10. You can find a link in the description down below. All minifigures and vehicles are set up, so let's start building the actual MOC. I'll start building the border and you will see in a second why this is pretty unique. I've used a combination of modified bricks, plates and tiles to create the lettering. As you can see, I was able to create every single letter which was needed to write Monte Cassino. I just had to place tiles on the top to hold everything in place. For the next step I will need some of these handy pieces. The main part of the border will be freeform and these pieces are pretty useful to do so. In combination with modified bricks and plates, this will create a cool looking shape. Before I can start with all the details, I had to build the skeleton of the build, and here's how I made it. Once the skeleton was done, it was time to add all the needed plates to create a round looking shape. I've used different types of 1x pieces like plates, tiles and quarter tiles in the colors of tan and medium nougat. Because of the shape, you probably noticed that this is one of the 2 corners of the build. The corner is nearly done, I just had to add curved and wedged plates at the top of it. Now it's time to connect all 3 modules, and yes, they are 3 because I just mirrored the first corner. But this isn't the final size at all, so let's extend the borders at the left and right. Let's focus on some details next and finish these corners. To achieve a natural look, I've decided to use some quarter tiles, wedge plates and regular plates. The freeform is finally done, so let's continue with all the plate work I have to do to continue with the rest of the build. As I will cover all the plates with other tiles and regular colored plates, I didn't have to use the tan ones now. After adding these 3 16x16 plates, the whole structure is done. Now we can finally start with the main attraction of the MOC, a destroyed building. The first thing I will build is this tunnel, which is part of the actual building. I've used a combination of light bluish grey and medium nougat pieces to create some used looking walls. To end up the tunnel design on this side, I've used 1x2 curved slopes. Let's continue with the rest of the house, and I was inspired by some original pictures and started building these archways. In this picture alone you can see a lot of archways in the background. I've used modified bricks to attach plates to the side of them, and you will see in a second why I made this. Thanks to the plate I could add G-slopes to the side of them, and this allowed me to place the rest of the archways in an angle. Angles make buildings and MOCs in general look way more interesting, so I can definitely recommend you to do so as well. But as you can see, I had to figure out a complicated roof design to fill in all the gaps. Because I want to create a damaged look, the handrail had to be damaged as well. In the next 20 seconds you can watch me finishing the roof by adding destroyed walls. After attaching the roof to the rest of the house, the back of it felt kind of empty. That's why I've decided to add a destroyed tower at the back. The building is completely done by now, so let's continue with the frontal place of the MOC. I came up with a unique tree design by using some bar pieces, and I've marked out the upcoming layout of the walls. I've got a lot of these white arch pieces in my latest pick a brick haul, and I think these are pretty handy for building walls. Because the look of white pieces only is way too clean, I had to include some dark tan pieces as well. And to create an even more destroyed look, I've added some serious damage at the walls. To simulate rubble of the building, I've added a lot of light bluish grey pieces into the 10th floor. And next I finished the walls on the other side of the park entrance. In my opinion, the use of dark tan pieces and the look of the destroyed walls fits perfectly into the rest of the build. As the top of the house totally collapsed, parts of it lay all over the MOC. The light bluish grey quarter tiles and the wedge plates are supposed to look like rubble of the build. In the following minute we will finish the whole corner of this build by building the wall and finishing the details on the groundwork. The main part of the MOC is done by now, I just have to finish this middle part. I've again added dark tan pieces for the rubble of the wall and more tiles and plates for the groundwork. I would add a Sherman tank at the right of the build, but I had the feeling that something was missing, so I've decided to build some bigger trees but using the same design as before. The minifigure hands and whip pieces just were perfect for roots. After attaching the trees to the rest of the build, it was time to add some final details by using some round plates and again quarter tiles. After figuring out the final position of the Sherman tank, I just had to add some plates. We finally reached the final stages of this MOC building process. Just let me finish this part of the MOC real quick by adding some white plates and 10 tiles. There's still this big hole next to the house, but I will fill it now. As I mentioned earlier, this is supposed to be rubble, that's why I've used a lot of light bluish grey pieces to fill in that gap. I've used a selection of wedged plates and slope pieces to create the rubble of the destroyed building. As I used a mix of medium nougat and light bluish grey pieces in the building, I had to do so for the rubble as well. After adding some final details and minifigures, I'm glad to present you the final build. That's it for the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you are new, feel free to check more of my videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.